Hello everybody and welcome to today's workshop. My name is Brandon Johnson. I will be your facilitator. I am a personal development coach and I will also be the one guiding you through this 4-part series. So I want to thank you for joining me today. Before we get started, I want to make sure that you all have your participant workbook. If you have not done so already, please go to the link provided and download that because it will be the place for you to answer the questions that I pose, capture any reflections, and be your place to take notes. So once again, if you don't have that, go ahead and download that now. This workshop comes from scratching a personal itch. There is a lot of conversation, and I have had a lot of experience of just kind of being complacent in life and realizing that there's a lot of unhappiness associated with that. So what that looks like is, how do we actually go from just letting life come to us, hoping we get what we want, hoping things unfold the way that we desire, to actually creating and developing the life that we want and taking ownership of those things and making sure that the outcomes we have are the outcomes that we expect and that we are doing the things we need to do to make that happen. Okay? So that's what we're going to focus on in this 4-part series. If that's cool with everybody, let's go ahead and get started. First, why are you here? The purpose of this workshop is to overcome the beliefs that keep you from doing the things you know you should be doing. And we're going to get really into what that looks like, okay? The whole point is you need to start living the life you should be living. If you feel like you're in a place of complacency, if you're kind of in a place where you're not sure if there's something more to be had, or you feel like there's something more to be had, but you're not sure what it is, a lot of the conversation around that is, Brandon, I have an idea of what I want, of goals I want to achieve, but where do I start? I have no idea how to get from where I'm at ground zero to the top of the mountain. Like, what does it even take to get started? This workshop will help you do that, okay? So how we're going to actually do that is, first, I want you to really understand what I call the bear model. This is the relationship between your beliefs, your actions, your results, and the overall experience of your life. All right, and we're going to really delve into that today. And then what you're going to do is you're going to assess your current life situation and how it's come to be over time. What are the things that you've done or allowed to happen to get you to where you are today? From that, we're going to actually do some goal setting and identify and realize some goals that you actually want and some things you actually want to achieve. Once we have that, what we're going to do is we're going to start to identify the actions necessary to live that life, to achieve those goals, to enhance your overall life experience and create the overarching life that you want. Okay? A big part of that, and the big thing that gets in the way, is our belief systems. We're going to really inspect those. We're going to challenge the beliefs that hold us back, and what we want to do from that is actually create empowering beliefs that will lead to our success and to our freedom, that'll break us out of this routine of, poor me, things just happen, there's got to be something more, but I don't know what it is, I don't know where to start. By the end of this, you'll know where to start, you'll know what to do, and you'll believe that it's possible for you. All right? So if that's cool, let's go ahead and get into it. Today's session is session 1 of 4 once again, and your workbook will be the workbook for all 4 sessions. And what we want to talk about first is becoming aware, really understanding how your life unfolds and how it's unfolded to this point. Before you can go anywhere and create a roadmap, you have to understand where you're starting. What are the resources you have? What are the tools at your disposal? What are the opportunities in front of you? Who are the people around you that can support you? We want to really look at where you are and how you got here before we can put the map in place. So you're going to actually work on your own personal awareness through this session and identify those things. So what does that look like for session 1? First, we're going to understand the bear model, like I said. You're going to assess your current life situation. You're going to identify one life component to focus on through this entire 4-part workshop. And I'm going to really stop here and stress that I just want you to pick one. the tools, the processes, the systems, all that are the same if you want to pick a different one later. But for the sake of this, just pick one to go completely start to finish through. If you decide to switch horses in the middle of the river, you're going to fall off track. You're going to lose some of the value of the first part of the session from the second session to the third session. So make sure that you are consistent with the thing you are working on, the area of your life you're focused on throughout the entire program. Through this session, we're also going to realize a little more self-awareness, and what we're going to do with that from then on will come out in sessions 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so today is really just about increasing self-awareness and understanding the model. So let's talk about the model. The BEAR model stands for an acronym. The B is your belief systems. And since I don't have video, I want to introduce you to my little anime version of me, the little redhead thinker there in the corner. The beliefs are the things that you hold to be true about the world. These are built over time, either through experiences you had, through things you've heard, things you were taught as a kid, in school, from your parents, college, whatever that looks like. These are just beliefs that you hold about the world, about yourself, and about people around you. Beliefs influence the actions we take, right? Think about it this way. If you have a belief that it is impossible to lose 10 pounds, literally believe it's impossible, what are your actions going to be in relation to losing that weight? Probably nothing, right? But if you believe and you know in your heart of hearts that it is possible for you to, let's say, get that job or have that relationship, you'll take the actions necessary to do that. So your beliefs really drive the actions. Your actions, the things you do, are responsible for driving your results, right? I do the things, the results come after that. Now, I want to stress that the results are not always necessarily desired results, even though my little guy there is like, yeah. Sometimes they're undesired, but actions lead to results. Good, bad, ugly, whatever. The cool thing about this model is it's a continuum, right? Our results will change our belief systems. If I do something, if you talk to that person at the coffee shop that you think is really cute, and you hit on them and you give them your phone number and they call you, right? So my belief is that this person will also think that I'm attractive. My action is I give them my phone number. The result is they call me. That reaffirms my belief that they think I am also attractive as well. So this, as you can see, this thing is perpetual. It builds, and it's influenceable at all different levels. And we're going to look at how do we influence that personally in your life in certain areas to build the life you want, to own it, to take ownership. So what all this is in the end of the BEAR model. Think about it like this. When an elephant is young and being prepared to go into the circus or to a show of some sort similar to the circus, what they do is they take this baby elephant and they tie a big heavy chain around its leg. This chain probably weighs, a couple 100 pounds. Now elephants, even when they're young, are very, very strong, right? So just the chain itself won't necessarily slow the baby elephant down. But what they do then is they tie it to a big stake or tree or post or something that's driven way down into the ground, and they keep that baby elephant tied up. And what happens is while they're training this elephant and it's tied up at night, that elephant will flail and pull and tug and try to get free from those chains. And over a period of time, that elephant will start to realize that it actually cannot break free of those chains. So the actions of pulling and tugging, the result that it yields is no result at all. The result is you're still stuck. So the belief of the elephant becomes, I am stuck. I cannot pull this out. There's nothing I can do. I am just here. If I'm tied to this thing, I am immobile. There's nothing I can do about it. As that elephant grows up, they continue to tie it up. But what happens is the elephant gets really big. And this is where it gets interesting. As an adult, they no longer have to tie it to a big tree. They can literally just put a little stake in the ground as you see here. But because that elephant has taken actions for so many years as a young pup, I think it's a pup, or young elephants, pups, cubs, whatever they are. Somebody will correct me on that, I'm sure. As a young elephant, they pull, they tug, they never break free. Their belief is, if I'm on this chain, I'm stuck. There's nothing I can do. So much to the point where you see this elephant, all it would have to do is put a little bit of effort in and it could pull that stake right. That's like a tent stake. You ever put one of these tent stakes in the ground? You're out camping, it like bends, right? Like you hit it once with the hammer that, has been in your box for 10 years and it's all dissolved and it's a terrible hammer. You hit it, the thing bends, you bend it back, you shove it in the ground by hand. That little stake's not holding that elephant. What's holding that elephant is the beliefs that have been reaffirmed because of the actions and the results it's seen through the years. So I want you to think about this in your life for a second. What are the beliefs that you hold due to the actions that you've taken? What we're going to look at is how these actions are influenceable. If that elephant one time, now that it's older, now that it's bigger, took the action to pull that post and the result changed. It pulled that post out of the ground, it was free, it could cause a ruckus on the circus, it would be on the news. Would its belief system change? The part that we're going to focus on is for you, what are those actions you can take to start to change your results and your belief systems? Okay, so with that, I want to ask you, what is your post? Take a second and just think about what are some of the things that hold you back, that keep you from taking the action you should be taking to get the things, the life experience that you want to have. One of the really cool things I've seen with this is whenever I was going through the IPEC coaching program, there was a lady in my class who, at the end of the first 3-day session, we were going around and we're debriefing on what are the things you really got out of today and what worked for you. What are you excited about moving forward? And this lady was really quiet kind of during the day, just kind of going through the activities, not engaging a lot. And it came to her and everybody was really kind of excited to see because she was kind of like this mysterious person in the class. So we all kind of wanted to hear what she had to say. She didn't speak a lot, but when she did, it was really smart. She had a lot of value to add. So we get through everybody and we finally come to her and the room kind of goes quiet. Everybody's captivated by this woman. We're listening to her and she goes, I think the biggest thing that worked for me today is I'm 35 years old and my whole life I've been telling myself I'm not creative. She goes, I learned today that all I mean by that is I can't draw or paint. I'm not an artist. She says, but if I think about it, I'm actually very creative. I come up with brilliant ways to appreciate my spouse, to appreciate my friends, to appreciate people at work. And I'm very creative in the context of how I do that. But for some reason, I've had this roadblock my whole life of I'm not creative. And then she told us how that's actually limited her and she's actually not taking on bigger roles or responsibilities at work because she had this limiting belief of I'm not creative enough to do that. So again, what are some of those things as we go through this? Think about some of those things you tell yourself, some of those posts that's tying you down. Okay? So like I said, today's about action. Well, we want to start to look at what those actions are that we can take to change those results, that will change our beliefs, that will enhance our overall life experience. And I think where that starts is what kind of conversations are we having inside of our own head? You see me contemplating here. I've realized recently that whenever I don't know, I have a lot of big, ambitious goals, and very rarely do I know where to start. Right? I don't know how to build a multi-million business. I've never done it before. How do you go from zero to multi-million dollars with no background? How do I become a marathon runner? Or how do I lose this weight? Or how do I have that relationship? Whatever it is for you, you don't know how to get started. Well, I pose that you actually do. And it starts with those conversations you have in your head. I should blank. I feel like we all have that little voice in our head that says, I should get a salad instead of a burger. I should go to the gym. I should look at classes to sign up for. I should get a second job so I can start putting away money. Whatever that is, you know the things you should be doing, but you don't. Why not? What is the post that keeps you from doing the things you know you should be doing? And then if you did do those things, what would your life look like? How would it change your experience and your outcomes? So in this first module, we're going to inspect those actions, those shoulds. Your subconscious is telling you what you need to be doing in order to get the results you want, to have the life experience that you desire. So by inspecting it, you can become more aware to those roadblocks and find ways to either navigate them or eliminate them entirely. And thus allowing yourself to build the life that you desire, the complete life experience, and accomplish your goals, and in general, just overall, stop being complacent and being more happy with your life experience. So, this is what I'm going to challenge you with. Stop shoulding, and I love this phrase. We talk about it in mentoring. You're always shoulding on the other person. Don't should on them. If you've ever heard anybody tell you what you should be doing, typically, that raises a defense mechanism. Don't tell me what I should be doing. You don't know me. Yet we allow ourselves to do it all the time, right? So I'm going to challenge you to stop shoulding and actually start living. So how are we going to do that? Before we get into the how, I want you to look at these 7 components. We're going to pick an area, like I said earlier, to focus on. And again, I want to reemphasize, pick one area and stick with it. So I'm going to help you identify which one. First of all, I want to give you a couple minutes, and if you're listening this to the recording, after I ask the question, this is a great place to pause until you've got through the activity, and then you can restart it once you get caught up, okay? Rate each component on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being very unsatisfied with how you are in this area in your life, and a 10 being very satisfied. Take a moment and rate each of the 7. Great. Now that you have all 7 identified, I want you to pick the one that you're going to work on over the next, including this week, 4 weeks, so 3 weeks after this, okay? Here's what I want you to focus on. Which one is going to have the greatest impact on your happiness if you move it 2 points? Your overall happiness. Okay? Also consider which one has the most influence over the other areas in your life. So if work is getting in the way of your relationships, if your health is getting in the way of your fun, if your personal growth is not allowing for your finances, they all kind of interplay. Which one would have the most impact overall? And let me know whenever you all have decided on which one you're going to work on. All right, everybody has one, it looks like. So if you're ready to move on, let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to do and how to get more awareness around it. So what I want you to do is I want you to assess this one area. There's a handful of questions here I want you to take time to answer. First, Why did you choose this one area to work on first? So this goes back to the previous questions. Why will it have the greatest impact, and what other things does it influence? Second, what are the current results you see in this area of your life? Inspect your life situation around you. Take a look at the future relationship, the people around you. Are those happy relationships, sad relationships? Are they combative? Are they supportive? What do those look like? If it's your career, is it you're happy with something, you've been working on something, or you've just fallen into it and let it happen over the last decade, and now you're stuck and don't know what to do next? What is the situation? And clearly define that. And then what actions do you take on a regular basis that have led to your current results? Think about things that you do routinely, habits you have in this area. Also think back to some core key moments about your life. Is there a mentor that you had, or did somebody say at one point, you know what, I think you would be really good at X. So you decided to go down that path. I know whenever I'm working with a bunch of millennials who are in like their late 20s, early 30s, there's this conversation of we took a test in high school and it said I would be a good accountant. So I went to school to become an accountant, and then I got a job, and now I've been an accountant for 5 years, and I'm 9 years invested after school and 5 years of work, and I'm 9 years in and I hate it. All because this aptitude test told me I'd be good at it. Right? There are some defining moments maybe that led to this. Maybe you had a parent that did it, or you had some conversations about your health or your finances, whatever that is. Identify as many of those as you can. And then once you identify those, what beliefs have they formed? Or do you hold that lead to those actions? If you're unhealthy, do you tell yourself that it's just genetic? Do you tell yourself that you tried before and you failed, so you're going to fail again? If it's relationships, do you tell yourself that there's a song that you're bad in love? Right? Like if you tell yourself that, you're going to take the actions that do that, and you're going to get the results that correspond. So what are the things you tell yourself? And finally, whenever you're sitting around thinking about this area of your life, what shoulds come up for you? Whenever you're sitting around on a Sunday or a Saturday or a Wednesday night or whatever it is, and a thought hits you about this area of your life and you're thinking about your goals, I should what? I should get up and go to the gym. Whenever my paycheck comes in, I should put 10% of it away to invest. I should order a salad. I should call this person and see how they're doing. I should stop and get flowers on my way home if it's a relationship. I should book an event that I enjoy for fun and recreation. I should sign up for that workshop for personal growth. Whatever it is, I should take on that project at work for my career. Start to capture those. Okay? What you really just did is you walked through the belief systems, or the Bear model, starting with the belief systems. We kind of worked backwards, right? We looked at your results, and then your actions, and then the beliefs. But those beliefs are those I shoulds, those things that you tell yourself, and then you talk yourself out of them, right? So pay attention to that self-talk in this area of your life if you're not getting the results you want, or you're not taking the actions that you want. Those actions are those things that you have done to get your current results. If you tweak those a little bit, right? Tony Robbins tells this great story about golf. He said, when I was learning how to golf, I kept hitting the ball, and I'd hit it really hard and really far, but it would go like a mile to the right or a mile to the left. I could never hit it straight. And the guy said, you're actually doing really well. He had a golf coach. He's like, you're actually doing really well, and you're really coach. And you're getting really close. And he's like, you could have fooled me. I'm hitting it all over the place. I haven't hit the middle of the fairway one time. He goes, no, think about it. Like, you're hitting a ball, and if you're off just a little bit, just a millimeter in either direction, left or right, it's going to give it a push or a pull. And life's the same way, right? If you were off just a little bit with your actions, you're going to see the results if you do it over time as the ball flies through the air, as you fly through life with these small actions. You don't have to tweak a lot. That's why you see a lot of these things on TV that are like, with 30 minutes a day in the gym, 3 days a week, you can lose weight. For a lot of people, that's real life because it doesn't take a lot to correct to get back on track. So look at those things. If your results aren't what you want, how can you tweak your actions just a little bit? And we're going to look at how to do that. Okay? And the results is the current reality of your situation. And the reason why I call it your situation instead of it is your life is because it's situational. It can change tomorrow. It can be different from today than it was yesterday. Whether it's your actions or if something happens, in a moment your life can change. And if you're going to own that, you can change it. You can be the catalyst for that. And that's what we want to look at. And finally, your shoulds are those guiding voices in your head. That's the Jiminy Cricket on your shoulder, your conscious saying, hey, you need to be doing this. We need to be doing this. If this is our goal, this is the thing we need to do. Okay? So here's what I want you to do. The key is in your awareness. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to take some time this week and really reflect on the key moments of your life that led you to your current life situation. And remember, what I mean by current life situation is not your overarching life like it's set in stone. It can change tomorrow. It could change today if something happens, right? It is adjustable, and we want to figure out how to adjust it ourselves so that it fits what we want. I want you to sit down and really think about those moments. Maybe you took an aptitude test that said, hey, you should do this with your life. Maybe your parents always told you money doesn't grow on trees. So you always grew up that money was hard to come by. Maybe you grew up thinking that you shouldn't have fun and enjoy yourself. Whatever those key moments are, I want you to sit down and really think about how those have formed your current life. Okay? From there, I also want you to capture a current and accurate I am statement of your current situation. These are the things that you tell yourself. If I were to ask you about this area of your life, this component, and let's say it's your health, you say, I am overweight. Let's say it's your finances, you say, I am in debt. Let's say it's your career, you say, I am just a server. Whatever it is, how do you self-identify? And we're going to use this and leverage it moving forward. And then finally, so those first two can be done in one sitting or one sitting for each. Just make sure you give yourself the time and space to do it and actually go through it. The other one I want you to capture daily, this last part, is over the next week, keep a journal documenting those moments when you catch yourself saying, I should blank. I should be doing this. So what I want you to notice is, what is the thing you should be doing? What were you doing in the moment where that thought came to mind? And what life component is related to? What are you thinking about improving subconsciously? And I just want you to journal those. You don't have to do anything with them, just write them down, because once we become more self-aware of these, we're going to use them moving forward. All right? So make sure you get that stuff done this week. What we are going to focus on next week is using that to build our desired life. We're going to really spend some time to identify what the things are that you truly want out of your overall life experience. What this will allow us to do is to build on those I shoulds, identify some I am statements in the future state, and just, as I said, become more aware, because it's easier to get to where you want to go whenever you realize where you are. So take the time this week to build those self-awareness activities. And if you have any questions, need any support, please do not hesitate to reach out to me. Otherwise, if I don't hear from you, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you next time.